Chapter 14, Transcending the Forces That Shape Us. This brings us back to focus on those three invisible currents that run through every decision, every relationship, every system. Kadam describes them as lifting some, dragging others down, and keeping a few sort of suspended. These fundamental forces of nature are sattva, bringing ethics, purity, balance; rajas, driving passion, activity, ambition; and tamas, creating inertia, ignorance, stagnation.
Right. These primal energies, the gunas, they shape everything, from our fleeting thoughts to entire civilizations. And they're not fixed. They shift constantly in people, in businesses, even in whole economies, shaping how we decide, connect, and grow. We're not static beings. We're shaped by these shifting forces that color how we act and lead.
Kadam invites us to really understand the dance of these forces, these energies. Sattva brings clarity, purpose, and fairness. But too much sattva can pull us away from execution, making visionaries drift from practical responsibilities. Rajas is the fire of ambition and creativity that drive to build, win, and scale. But unchecked, it easily becomes restlessness, ego, and eventually burnout. And tamas brings rest, recovery, and reflection. But when it's dominant, it becomes inertia and resistance to necessary growth.
And the point isn't to eliminate these forces. It's impossible. It's to observe them, balance them intelligently, and ultimately rise above their pull. So a rajasic mindset fuels bold moves, sure, but it may trigger stress when it's tied solely to external winds. A kamasic approach calls for caution, which is sometimes needed, but it can also block essential growth. A sattvic mindset enables integrity, but might cause someone to avoid the necessary rewards or influence needed to make a bigger impact. The wise don't reject the gunas, they learn to conduct them like an orchestra.
And the gunas don't just shape individuals, they define entire organizations, don't they? A sattvic organization prioritizes ethics and vision, but without rajas, it's all compass, no engine, it won't go anywhere. A rajasic one thrives on speed and dominance, but without sattva, it's like a rocket without guidance, potentially crashing. And a tamasic one clings to comfort and the status quo without the others. It's like a ship stuck in harbor, stable maybe, but ultimately stagnant.
Exactly. The sweet spot is balance. Sattva for direction, rajas for momentum, and tamas for consolidation and recovery. The future belongs to those who know when to push, when to pause, and when to pivot, using these energies wisely.
We can't escape the gunas. We have to learn to dance with them, rising above their pull, becoming aware enough to lead, not just follow. When we observe their play without being played by them, we act from freedom, not force. And that's where true power begins, acting with intention, not compulsion.
The book then turns to be the player, not the pawn. Quoting, "The three modes, goodness, passion, ignorance, all come from me. I am not within them, they are within me. The three primal energies are like waves arising from the vast ocean. They shape our emotions and thoughts, yes, but we don't need to remain trapped in their hold." Moralizing them as simply good or bad completely misses Krishna's insight. Tamas isn't inherently evil, it's the necessary pause between breaths. Sattva isn't just virtue, it's the light that can blind just as much as it can guide. They are energies to be understood and ultimately transcended. Maturity is knowing when to balance reflection, momentum, and restraint.
It reminds me of that old Cherokee tale. My son, there is a battle between the two wolves inside us all. One is evil. It is anger, jealousy, greed, resentment, inferiority, lies, and ego. The other is good. It is joy, peace, love, hope, humility, kindness, empathy, and truth. The boy asks, "So, grandfather, which wolf wins?" The old man quietly replies, "The one you feed." The battlefield isn't just around us, it's within us, moment by moment.
That's a perfect analogy. The book then discusses dedication transcends forces, citing one who serves with unwavering dedication rises above these forces and is ready for higher awareness. Krishna reveals that transcendence comes through unwavering dedication. This means steady, focused service, consistently showing up with sincerity, anchored in purpose, not swayed by every mood or mode. Stability comes not from perfection, but from steady contribution.
In today's language, we might call this being in the zone, right? But the book suggests it's deeper than that. When we immerse ourselves in action with devotion, not for outcomes or applause, but from pure sincerity, we rise above the sway of the gunas.
Yeah. Whether you're building a company, supporting a team, raising a child, or learning a new skill, staying committed to it through thick and thin is the way upward. In business, leaders who are tied to a real purpose, whether it's sustainability, innovation, or genuine customer well-being, they naturally rise above market noise and volatility.
So, by showing up with dedication, undistracted by the push and pull of these forces, we transcend their fleeting influences. We get to live with more clarity, fulfillment, and purpose.
Okay, this brings us to the entrepreneurial framework for Chapter 14. Business balance through vision, execution, and stability. Successful entrepreneurs, Kadam says, masterfully balance vision with the ability to pivot, push, and pause. This helps them avoid isolation, burnout, or stagnation.
Sustained leadership isn't just about operating on hustle culture, is it? It's about deeply understanding what's driving your decisions. When you pause to assess your internal state, the energy driving you, you shift from operating purely on instincting to leading with clear intention. What drives you shapes what you ultimately build.
And every business moves through these cycles of energy. Rogers is often dominant in the startup phase: speed, risk-taking, bold pivots. Tomas can set in during prolonged periods of steady operations, leading to comfort, inertia, maybe bureaucratic drag. And Sattva can emerge in companies with a strong vision and deeply embedded values.
Apple, again, seems to have harmonized all three modes. Sattva inspired that elegant, user-centric design. Rajas drove relentless innovation and global expansion. And Tomas anchored their operational scale and reliability. That balance wasn't by default. It was clearly by design.
Exactly. So when these forces shift, leaders should ask themselves, what grounds my vision? What fuels my drive? What holds my ground? Balance wisely, act with awareness, and build with intent.
Right. And with the mastery of balancing these forces, the next step is to cut through illusions for lasting impact.